our little split up in sessions workshop, where we're going to talk about, before we talked about your one sentence pitch. So now we're going to talk about these instead. So there's a chance to focus on these. So just one.
Customers won't buy.
Customers won't buy.
They won't understand it.
They won't understand it. Do it. Give us one.
Employee training and management issues.
Explain a little more. What does that mean?
I'm
Like,
really a different.
They won't let you do it. They won't.
I don't understand the organizational
Okay.
structure.
Okay. Gotcha. That you don't understand their. Got it. On the back here.
Just real quick interjection. These, and I know we didn't give this instruction at the beginning, so feel free to rephrase. These are best written as hypotheses or experiments you want to run. So things like
I'm afraid that
yeah. So it was an organizational training.
Understand.
Yeah, that I don't know enough about these things to get a sale, right? So if you can say it as a true statement, then you have something to actually validate and test. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
That'll be for later. Go ahead.
Get users.
Say again?
Just get users.
You're afraid that you won't be able to get users? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Or you're afraid that the users don't exist. I think they exist, just how do you effectively reach enough of them? Even the free ones.
Okay.
So you're getting users.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with launch and beta.
Okay.
Customers will use the product.
Okay.
Development of competitors that are in adjacent fields who can move in, seeing the opportunity.
You're afraid of someone swooping in and snagging your opportunity. You can't protect yourself. Okay?
Customers don't even need the product.
You don't need it at all. Okay? I like that.
That's what I've heard.
That's a good one.
Takes too long. The customer too big, takes too long to sell the product.
The sales cycle is too long and you'll starve before you make any money.
I'm afraid I won't be able to get enough good reviews in a reasonable period of time.
You won't be able to get enough good reviews in a reasonable period of time. Okay? So many more of you, you're all kind of looking away when I...
Okay, I'm afraid the distributor will take over and do it on their own.
Interesting. So similar to having competition swoop in and steal your game. Poachers. Go ahead.
Data plans become more expensive.
Data plans become more expensive. That's, I'm afraid people won't use cell phones as one. That's actually good. That's the next bit. So we'll stop using a cell phone. Who's next? You got another?
Regulation.
You're afraid that regulation will be too big of a hurdle for you to proceed.
Well, regulation might change as they go along.
Oh, interesting.
Make it something.
Okay.
I'm afraid of liability
Tell me more.
if someone gets hurt easily.
Oh, okay. Getting your pantsuit off. Everyone needs pants.
I tried customer segment I'm targeting.
That it's not the right one?
Yeah.
Okay. We have some more over here. Did I get everyone over here?
Intellectual property issues.
IP issues. Yeah.
Tell me more. Is a statement that gets pass or fail? Sorry, who was that?
Oh, for the intellectual property issues,
Mhm.
that is based on a model that many other people are using in different ways.
So that you would be infringing upon someone's IP,
Yeah.
or that you wouldn't have IP to protect you.
Well, it could be either. I mean, it's really both, but without the legal protections, but also that there's infringement, and just that I don't know. I don't know enough about that, so that's the real fear, I guess, if I were to put it plainly. I don't know enough about intellectual property issues to know, am I safe going into foraying into this?
Is there a big IP pothole you're about to drive right into and disappear? A sinkhole. Who else haven't I heard from? Over here. All right.
Read that whatever product we design will not solve the problem.
Interesting.
Awesome.
That's a big one.
Awesome.
Your answer's not the right one. Who else?
Not enough barriers of entry, so others can duplicate the model.
Okay.
Competition.
A lot of competition fears. It's
Minimum viable product, as they say, is too expensive on my own buck.
So it's too expensive to bootstrap.
Bootstrap.
And you're just afraid then that if you find that out, you can't proceed.
I'm fine. The next thing is to go get the funding, so that's the hurdle.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that
Yeah. Anyone else
Changing the customer behavior in shopping.
that
That you can change.
they won't want to change? Okay. It's actually a interesting hypothesis to deal with. Let's see. Did you do one?
Inability to reach customers.
So you're afraid you won't be able to reach your customers.
So am I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And rephrase, I think we heard this another place, that maybe they don't exist, or maybe you didn't solve a problem, which is, I think you said something earlier, which is, I'm afraid that customers won't love this so much that they're physically stapling money to my forehead. So just rephrasing this in different ways. Let's see. We haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I'm afraid the final price of my product might be too high for the market.
Afraid that your price is too high for the market. All right. Anybody else? Do we hear yours?
Everyone kind of said mine, but that my customers won't want to pay me the high enough rev share that I need to make a margin.
Awesome.
Can't make your margin. Okay.
Yeah, even if we've heard them all before, to know, like to hear that multiple people are thinking about competition is helpful, to know that people are thinking about pricing. Anybody else?
Like negative reviews from the medical industry against my product.
Okay, sure. Okay. Very good. So that's awesome. So when we talk about learning and being chief learning officers, we talk about testing these hypotheses. So this is the new frame of reference I want you guys to have throughout your business career. It's not, I need to go launch my company. I need to go put together an MVP. I need to go put together a landing page. It's, I got to figure out what barriers to entry does my competition have? How do customers even find out about me or my competition? This is your job from here on out. It's just to learn and start putting these things in rank order and start checking them off the list. And as soon as you find one that kills you, IP law. I'm infringing on someone else's patent, and they are suing the shit out of everybody who touches it. Done. Next chair. Yeah? Competition. The space is so heavy, and everyone's finding out about new competitors all the time. And in fact, customers, they're overwhelmed with the number of competitors. New chair. Right? That's what we're doing, is we're looking at all these things, and we're going through them. And I'll tell you,
That's hard.
there's a lot more chairs without money under them than there are with. That's why so many startups fail, right? You hear statistics, 1 out of 10 small businesses, 1 out of 1,000 tech startups. They fail because people sit in the chairs with no money in them. But instead of doing that, you guys are going to be validating. Nope, until you find one that the customers literally throw money at you. They say, I need this so badly,
Yeah.
please.
Staple. Well, and that's the point, is there's another bit of a learning process before even this learning process, which is to be, we'll talk about it later on, but cold lovers with angry, cold eyes that you leave when you see that your chair, that your idea is the wrong idea. It's good until it's not. And when it's not, cut bait and move on. Quit. Move on and start again.
Yeah.
This is the whole point here, because if not, like Dave said before, please God, don't make it 8 years. 7 is long enough. Well, you know what? 4 weeks or 4 months, depending on how long it takes for you to do this process, it's long enough once you find out it's time to leave.
All right, so what we're going to do now, so now that we've sort of got you indoctrinated in this new way of thinking, we're going to show you how to run a couple of experiments, all right? So to test these hypotheses. Now, there are, for every different type of assumption, there are different experiments that can be run. Some experiments are building out the entire company.
Yeah.
Those take too long. We don't do those, right? We do things that we can get done really quickly. So now we're going to shift gears and we're going to show you how to start collecting some information about, and it's going to apply to a couple of you. In particular, I'm going to talk about how to do some customer interviews. So the vast majority of your information should come from customer interviews. How many here have done surveys, have done customer surveys?
Good.
Okay. And how many here have wasted your time? Everyone who raised your hand in surveys, let's raise your hand. Surveys are tricky bitches, and none of you, unless you've got really trained background in surveys, you probably wasted your time. They're really complicated to get right. There's biased information, and you're probably just confirming what you already know. Interviews, on the other hand, are a wealth of knowledge and are well worth their time and money, in my opinion. So we're going to show you how to get them right now by using a little service we call Mechanical Turk. So again, just to set context, so if your most pressing concern was, I'm not sure if my customers exist, I'm not sure if I'm solving their problem, I'm not sure if parents would pay, if I'm not sure where to find them. If it's about customers, this is a technique you can use to find the answer and to help validate or invalidate that assumption. Yeah.
Does it matter if it's business versus consumer?
Great question. So, is your customer a consumer or is it a B2B player? So another business person. In this example we're going to talk about, it's going to be easier if it's a consumer, but it's not impossible if it's a business person. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run this experiment, because what we're going to try and do, if I can log in, is get started. Where's my login? Sign in as a requester. I'm going to try and get someone to call in on this computer here, actually.
Bring your computer on a little bit.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, Daniel, could you, while I'm doing this though, would you mind giving them a tour of Mechanical Turk? Have you played with it at all?
I have, and
If you could just show them what some hits are, just as an example.
you're on there.
Yeah. So this is yours. Yeah. Just get back.
Who has everybody heard of Mechanical Turk before themselves?
Turk.
Mechanical Turk. So it's an Amazon product. Let's go. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's like the make money find hits now.
Yeah.
There you go.
So they've got these things called hits. When you're looking to get information, you are setting up these questions. You can do a couple things. You can have, somebody mentioned some survey tools. We're going to be able to actually talk to someone, call them up to get some of these answers. But you're basically getting a survey. Is it too hard to see? A survey tool. You're paying.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll pay you 12 cents. I'll pay you 15 cents or 20 cents to get an answer to something. And so what we're looking at here are hits. Let's go ahead and click on one here and check it out.
So these hits, what they're called, think of it like a mini job posting.
Yeah.
Think of this like sort of monster for menial task that takes 30 seconds. And what happens is people will pay you an infinitely small amount of money.
7 cents.
1 penny, 7 cents, 3 cents, to do an almost infinitely small amount of work. So yeah, you can find anything on here. This is like one of the job descriptions.
Yeah, so look, I want you to copy text from this business card. I want you to go and find 3 search terms online. I want you to tell me which of these 3 names you like the best. I want you to tell me something. You're looking to figure something out. These are different types of hits that you have. In this case, please copy text from the business card. You have to accept the hit if I'm a person who's making 7 cents for this. But you're going to select, crop the logo, drag and drop the logo. This is, you're having people do these menial tasks for you. I'll go back and find something else. I could have made 2 cents for that, by the way.
Can you qualify the people that are there, for example, age?
Good question. You can qualify the people that are there. So if you're working you become qualified on these hits, and you have to be qualified at certain levels. You can get ranked. I do the right amount of hits. I've answered these questions correctly enough times. I'm ranked above a 90 or a 95 or 100. You can request these certain things, and you can also say, I only want women of this age, to answer or that sort of thing. Hold on, I'm having trouble finding a good hit for you here. See if I can find an expensive hit.
Maybe you have too small of a screen.
Yeah.
See everything.
Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is, can I have everybody gather sort of around here? I know this is sort of ghetto, but for hackers, we can make this happen. Yeah, so everybody come around here. So what we're putting together is one of our own mini job descriptions. I'm going to try and rotate this around so that everybody can see. So this is a mini job description, but instead of having someone like type some information in, we're going to have them call us. So we're basically putting out the job that says in the world, if you meet these requirements, give me a call and talk to me for 5 minutes. And you'll be surprised. People will do it. So I'm just gonna, I'll show you real quick, then I'm gonna launch it, and then we'll sort of dive into exactly all of the pieces. It says, if you have a family member or friend who is consistently late, and that family member owns a smartphone, give me a call. All right, so I'm just gonna launch it again. I'll dive into it in a little bit more detail. Here, I'm saying I'm paying $1.01 for the phone call, and then I'm gonna publish it, and then Amazon adds on 10%, so I'll end up paying $1.11.
And Amazon charges you?
Exactly. That's right. Actually, I do feedback. Okay. So now we're ready to rock, and I'm gonna go back and if you haven't seen it, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Just come here, new match. So basically, now I have a blog. So all of this information is written up on the blog. So all the step-by-step, in fact, all of the code, you can just copy and paste it. For that little job description, like putting on something like this, copy and paste it. As well as the interview, like that I'll do. It's all available on the blog. So you guys will do two things. You'll go to the blog, three things. You'll subscribe to the blog, and then you will read the blog. Okay, so yeah. So here are my qualifications. Someone was asking, can you qualify? And for these interviews, it's actually particularly easy to qualify because I put on here the requirements that someone has to meet in order to give us a call. And then they actually have to talk to a human. They talk to me, and if it turns out they don't qualify, you can find out really easily. People aren't great liars, especially on the spot, and so I've never had a problem. I've only had one person try and trick me, but it was obvious within 30 seconds. So I
yeah, summer girl.
Yeah.
How do they get paid how do you release the funds to them?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So these little job posting, they're going to do the work, like the logo thing or something like that, but how do you know that they actually called and talked to us? There's this little password field on the bottom. Can you guys see that? I'll pass this around. See the password field? Yeah, on there. So what happens is, after we do the phone call, I tell them the password. I give them some word, watermelon, and if they type in watermelon, then I'll see that on my back end. And everyone who tried to complete this job application, they'll have a password entered. Some of them will be ASDS, some of them will be balls, some of them will be watermelon, and I pay the ones that said watermelon. Yeah? So that's how we make sure that only the people who we want apply. Okay, so this is sort of just like a classic. This is an easy way to get out of the building without leaving your house. Other ways to do the exact same thing. Go to where your customers are. So again, this is going to be B2C focused, consumer focused, but I've gone down to the airport, and because I'm testing an app for people who run late and who are traveling. So I've literally gone to the airport and just talked to people who are waiting. Turns out anywhere someone is waiting, they are willing to talk to me.
Is that legal at the airport?
I don't know. I don't see why not.
He doesn't care much about that.
That's also true.
I'm with you.
Exactly. If it was illegal, I imagine someone would tell me, and then I would go somewhere else.
Steve Blank recommends that you have bail money with you.
Steve Blank is smarter than I am. Okay, so yeah, let's go. I'll sit down for a little bit. And what my hope is, I published this on the internet. My hope is that someone will call in during the session. We'll all crowd around again, and we can interview this person together.
High level, what I love about this product, like you said in this last bit of talking, it is the most important thing because you don't know anything, and your customers know everything. And this is such a fast way from anywhere with internet access, you can get in touch with them.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Okay, so while we're waiting on that, talk to me about concerns and questions you have about how you can actually use this tonight. Because you can literally go home and use this tonight. Yeah.
My products for business to business.
Awesome. Who's your target customer?
I don't know that yet.
Okay.
But I know it's for the business. I don't
Okay.
know if it's a manager, senior manager, it's a VP.
Awesome.
I'm not quite sure.
Of any particular niche, any niche we can target at all, like of
It's what
hair
I'm selling
salons
is
or
a service
traveling?
that gets employee-generated video inside the corporate firewall. So I've seen it work at corporate home, but it could work for any sort of communicator manager within that wants to put video in their team site.
Gotcha. Okay. So that you've got an awesome problem right here, which is, and I actually have a blog post that got this specifically because I run into it too. Which customer segments do I start with? Who do I even know who to tackle first, right? Anybody else here have that problem? Like which customer to start with? Yeah. So there's a little technique I use. It prioritizes customer segments based on a couple of attributes. So I'll send a link. Dave, do we have the ability to send links to people?
Yeah.
Send a link to that article, and it'll tell you exactly it'll help you figure out who exactly to start with. So let's say it's a team manager, right? It's first level manager was our target, right? Then all I would do on the qualifications here. If you're a first level manager of 5 to 10 employees with access to an internet portal, give me a call, right? Now you can see how it might be less likely that we'll get a phone call there as opposed to my call, but you can still let it sit and like just wait all day. And as you're just humming along doing your thing, if someone calls up, then that's awesome, you'll get a call, right? And you'll get a free one, as opposed to the other way that you would try to find that person, which is much more difficult.
Can you specify the hours, like only call them between 10 and noon or
Yeah,
whatever?
you can basically say this job post is only alive for this amount of time, and if no one takes it, then it will automatically expire.
How many interviews should you do to be statistically significant?
Awesome question. I love it. There's two reasons I love that question. One is statistical significance. We can't really get that for interviews. In fact, we're not really looking for that. What you're looking to do is learn, and the way you know when you're done learning is when you hear the same things over and over again and you stop learning new things. So surveys can be helpful if you need statistical significance, but it's very often, if never, have I heard someone's most risky assumption is, I don't have statistical significance for blah, blah, blah statements, right? There's usually something else that's more concerning than that.
Maybe Gallup, right? And then in their case, it's, X percent, 1,000, 2,000 of a population of 1 million.
So yeah, so you keep interviewing until you stop learning new things.
My technical buyers are university business professors.
Okay.
If I want to ask them one question, how do I know that these guys are actually university business school professors?
Oh, I see. Hey, tell me what classes you're teaching this year. Yeah, tell me, anything. Just to get them talking, you'll be able to figure out if they're real or not. Other quick thing about the demographics of these folks, they are not people who are looking for money. In fact, we don't price our work very high. We price it low because it turns out most people who are on Mechanical Turk use this as a replacement for solitaire as opposed to a replacement for a job. It actually could be someone at their own job, bored and doing things online. So they typically will be as educated, and I've got a link to the blog post that describes all that stuff in my blog post about the demographics. So they're very likely could be someone in that group.
What's the URL of your blog?
CustomerDevLabs.com. Great question. Anybody not hear that? CustomerDevLabs.com. Yeah, write it down.
Is the
It's
URL
really
of his blog.
It stands for Customer Development Labs. But yeah, subscribe to that. And the only reason I push the blog so much is because I got awesome stories and experiments, and if no one reads them, then no one gets the benefit from them. That's all. That's all.
If you're looking for a specific demographic like he is or is, would it be easier to just call, like you make the phone call to some business or place rather than wait all day?
Yeah, no, it's totally true. If this sort of thing doesn't work, then I absolutely recommend doing whatever it would take to do a sale. That's another great thing about these experiments. If you have an experiment, I'm concerned that I can't reach business professors in universities, right? Then you try to reach business professors in universities, right? Get on the horn, and if you can't do it, then new chair, right?
How much should you pay them?
These guys, these interviews, I usually pay $1 and a penny. But experiment with that. That's another thing to experiment. All this stuff, I've done it for 50 cents and it works. I bump it up a little bit now because I sort of want someone to call in. I'm actually going to plug in while we wait.
Check. We're 100% on the volume. That's good. No one tried calling.
Okay, let me just make sure that we're still live and humming.
You should give them $10.
Yeah.
So the problem with $10 is that we're going to get a lot of people calling, but we're going to get the people who are calling to do this for money. And they'll immediately hang up because those guys, they won't meet our qualifications. They'll see something for $10 and then call immediately. See? Other questions about this before?
So are they biased even if it's a small amount? Means that
To be too nice to you. Yeah. Okay. Great question. So, yeah. So when I'm asking, when I'm doing an interview, how do I know the person who's telling me things are true? It turns out people are awful at predicting the future, just like you guys. So asking predictive questions is pretty much a waste of time. Would you ... is a large waste of time. They won't know the answer, and that's where you're going to get their bias. Would you buy an app that did this? Would you pay $5 and blah, blah, blah? That's where the bias is going to come in. Bias doesn't typically, at least not as inherent, if you ask about past behaviors. Have you ever? Do you ... Those sorts of things. Then people it's easy for them to be honest. So yeah, anything that starts would you, we call that an ice cream question because they'll almost always answer yes. Would you like to solve this problem? Yes. Have you ever had a rash on your inner thigh? Right there, they are less likely to answer yes to that.
Less likely to call.
So we've actually done quite a few interviews. Right? I think that we're in fitness.
Okay.
So we're targeting people that are interested in group exercise and love working out in the studio. So we've talked to quite a few potential customers, right? We hear what their pain points are, and we know what they love, what draws them into that group fitness.
Cool.
But there's going to actually have to be a behavior change. Talking about predicting the future.
Sure.
Because what we're offering is for them to be able to take something remote. So for example, one of the things that for people that are actually fanatics right now, we find that they have second gym memberships, right? Kind of fill that void or go find that avoid a long commute on the weekend. So maybe what I would ask here is, do you have a second gym membership? So that's actually a pretty broad population. How many phone calls would you recommend I take and collect data on?
So the how many question is going to be the same until you stop learning new things. So whatever your assumption is, what's the assumption we want to test?
Will customers buy?
Will they buy? Okay. So will they buy?
Actually, this is for a very specific thing.
Awesome. Okay. So that's once we understand sort of the pain point, we do these interviews. You get as far as you can. We understand the pain. We understand why they're trying to solve this problem. You would use another experiment, a more behavioral type of experiment, to test that. So again, there are lots of those experiments. There's some really good ones out there. We can talk about them, and we will when we sit down one-on-one. We'll go over these things. But know that that's a different type of experiment. It's one where you actually put the cash register in front of them, and you see if they pay you the money. That's the only way you'll know if they'll pay, is if they pay you. So that's a different experiment than this. This is more information gathering. Okay, so I'm gonna sort of let this bake. I don't know how we do on time, and then maybe we can do the keyword thing.
Yeah, well, we could pop out of the keyword thing if we need to. We get a call.
Yeah.
So let it bake. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any more questions about this stuff, we're gonna be here. We're gonna do one-on-ones with everybody. But of course, at any time you can contact me, and I'll give you